But is this the right place for the mockery and satire of religion to happen when you have so many athletes coming from around the world? It's supposed to be a celebration of all these different nations, all these people with differences.
From the esteemed sports event's controversial opening ceremony to athletes receiving death threats, the Paris Olympics has already seen a lot of drama. So without any further ado, let's dive into all of the drama and controversies at the Paris Olympics. It was the first day of the Olympics, and the event almost got canceled. And for what? Well, there was a banquet scene where the Greek god Dionysus took center stage at a table with drag queens, and the resemblance to Da Vinci's The Last Supper painting is uncanny. I mean, you can be the judge yourself. Immediately, this decision caused an uproar in the community, with religious groups condemning this part of the ceremony. Even the French Catholic Church joined in and called it scenes of derision and mockery of Christianity. And that's not all. Thousands of people started to rant and threaten to boycott the Paris Games. With hashtags like Talk Boycott Olympics and Not Boycott Paris 2024, it was becoming problematic for the event organizers, and they knew they had to say something. Anne Descamps, an organizer, held a press conference in which she tried to control the statement. She said, "Clearly there was never an intention to show disrespect to any religious group," she said. On the contrary, I think Thomas Joly did try to intend to celebrate community tolerance. We believe this ambition was achieved. If people have taken any offense, we of course are really sorry.
Hier soir, c'était des idées républicaines, c'était des idées d'inclusion, c'était des idées de bienveillance, de générosité, des idées de solidarité.
Even the International Olympic Committee chimed in and said, the IOC has taken note of and welcomes the clarification given by the Paris 2024 Organizing Committee regarding the opening ceremony. Talking about the press conference, the committee said they reiterated that their intention with the opening ceremony was always to celebrate community and tolerance. The organizing committee also said that if anyone was offended by certain scenes, this was completely unintentional and they were sorry. This seemed to calm down the controversy, but as it turns out, the drama was all for nothing. You see, Reverend Benjamin Kremer revealed in a post which said it was a representation of the event called the Feast of Dionysus, Greek god of festivity and feasting and ritual and theater. The Olympics are from Greek culture and tradition. French culture is deeply rooted in feasting and festivity and performing arts. What do you think? Was it a reference to Jan Bruegel's Feast of the Gods or Da Vinci's The Last Supper? Okay, so you can call the supper satire or subjective, but how do you manage to play the wrong song for a country? That's what the organizers did. Like, how can you mess that up? South Sudan, which was recognized as a separate state after a civil war in 2011, qualified for the Olympics for the first time. Imagine their disappointment and heartbreak when they had to listen to the national anthem of the country they fought so hard to be separated from.
And now, the national anthem of South Sudan. Pour l'erreur technique. Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the technical error.
In their basketball game against Puerto Rico, the organizers accidentally played the national anthem for Sudan instead. This went on for about 20 seconds when players stood confused, and that's when the crowd began to boo. And when the players stood with hands over their hearts, the whole stand started to clap for them. Even the opposite team joined in for support.
This is a team that, plays at the highest levels across the world, right?
Finally, after 3 minutes, the actual national anthem was played, and that's when the South Sudan players embraced. Now, you'd think that after such a disappointing start to the day, the players would be too disheartened to play, right? But the African team had other ideas, as they gave their best and pulled off the first major upset of the ongoing Olympics by defeating Puerto Rico. And this was the first Olympic basketball victory for South Sudan, as they won with a 13-point lead. Steven van de Velde, a Dutch child rayist, was booed by the crowd at his first Olympics beach volleyball match.
The fact that a convicted child racist is competing this year, with that being Steven van de Velde, who's a 29-year-old beach volleyball player for the Netherlands. And in 2014, a few days before his 20th birthday, he raped a 12-year-old British.
Yes, you heard that right. A convicted child racist is at the Olympics. In case you don't know, de Velde was sentenced to 4 years in prison when he pled guilty to raying a 12-year-old British girl. The player was 19 years old when he befriended the 12-year-old on Facebook. The girl had made it clear that she was 7 years younger than him, but unfortunately, the Predator had other ideas. You see, during his trial almost a decade ago, he traveled to the UK and met with his victim. The girl took him to her empty house on the second night, where he took her virginity. Before he left, he told her to take the morning after pill since they hadn't used contraception, and when she visited a family planning clinic, authorities were quick to step in and take matters into their own hands.
The question is what happens now, and whether or not it is reasonable, justifiable for someone who has committed an offence this serious to be representing their country at the Olympic Games, where children will also be.
Fast forward to the present, his presence at the Olympics is not only being questioned, but openly criticized as well. There's even a petition which is calling on Olympic chiefs to kick the convict out of the games, which has received over 94,000 signatures. It states, "The tarnished record of Van de Velde should not be swept under the rug, nor should it stand as a symbol of achievement at an event as prestigious as the Olympics. This is about more than just one person. It's about the worldwide image of the Olympics and the kind of society we want to live in." One Dutch fan wrote, "Friendly reminder that Steven Van de Velde should not ever, in any universe, be at the Olympics representing our country after what he did." Even the British Olympic Association has expressed anger about his competition. His teammate, on the other hand, didn't care much about his past. In an interview after their loss to the Italian team, he said, "People are allowed to have an opinion, but we just want to play the tournament as well as possible." What are your thoughts on this? French authorities have opened an investigation into death threats sent to Israeli athletes at the Paris Olympic Games. Last week, Israel's foreign minister gave a warning of a supposedly Iranian-backed plot to target Israeli athletes and tourists during the event. In retaliation, the Iranian mission to the UN gave a statement in which they said, "Terrorist acts have no place in the principles of resistance groups. Lies and deceit cannot switch the roles of the plaintiff and the accused." For security reasons, the athletes are being escorted by elite tactical units and given 24-hour protection for the duration of the event. But is the threat real? Their football match at PSG Stadium saw fans wearing black and holding Palestinian flags in solidarity with them as the war in Gaza continues for over 9 months. They held a banner that read, "Genocide Olympics." Furthermore, these claims by Israel are interesting as they canceled Adidas's campaign for their new shoes as well. The campaign starred Bella Hadid, who has publicly supported Palestine and spoken about the atrocities faced by her people.
Now, Adidas has apologized for using the face of Bella Hadid in an advertisement.
What's the hard part about this is that if you want to speak up about things that you believe in, sometimes somebody that you work with doesn't believe in the same things you do, and sometimes that's an issue.
Why was it canceled? Well, according to them, it was anti-Semitic since the shoes referenced the 1972 Munich Olympics, where 12 Israeli athletes were murdered in a terrorist attack. So what did Adidas do to recover from this backlash? Well, first they pulled back the campaign and then issued an apology on Adidas Originals Instagram story. In the post they said, "Connections continued to be made to the terrible tragedy that occurred at the Munich Olympics due to our recent SL72 campaign." They added, "These connections are not meant, and we apologize for any upset or distress caused to communities around the world." Furthermore, they emphasized how the brand made an unintentional mistake. They apologized to the stars whose reputations they messed up. In the same post they said, "We also apologize to our partners, Bella Hadid, A.A.P. Nast, Jules Koundé, and others, for any negative impact on them, and we are revising the campaign." And that's all from today, folks. What do you think of Paris 2024 so far? Was the country fit to hold it? Let us know in the comments below.